Hytale is in some hot water right now, but it might not entirely be their fault. We also have 3 new images to break down, plus the team released a bunch of answers to the most asked questions since early access was announced. A big thing that the team has now confirmed is that the game will not be on Steam. This has caused quite a stir up, actually more than Simon was expecting it seems. Several news outlets and users have posted about this being a way for Hytale to actually avoid negative reviews whilst in early access. The argument being here that he should just release on Steam, allowing them to take a 30% cut in order to reach more players, be reviewed more I guess, and so people don't have to download a separate launcher. And look, I get it, lots of people are fans of Steam, but it's funny because the core community knows this was never really on the table initially. It shouldn't be something we expect right now. Either way, the main issue here is people assuming they are avoiding Steam or want to avoid negative critique, as it's quite literally the opposite. Simon followed up to a few of these more critical posts stating that he has acknowledged that the game has been bad from the get-go, and specifically that Steam wouldn't be able to support their full vision for modding right now. If anything, this is free marketing, he says, as lots of people are coming to their socials and following the game. In fact, due to all of the confusion and the misinformation going on right now, they even updated their very first question on the new frequently asked questions blog post. Quote, "We want to spend our time in early access working with our existing community to improve the game rather than chasing a flood of cold first impressions that could overcorrect the game's direction. We don't shy away from honest negative criticism. We have been very critical of the state of the game ourselves. We simply want the first steps of our journey to be influenced by informed players, rather than large-scale first impressions from those unfamiliar with the game's development background. Steam is a great platform and marketing tool, but one that we might never need. This doesn't mean that Hytale will never be on Steam. Right now, we don't see the need for it, as we want to keep our launch close to our community." They continue, "It's important to note that Steam currently doesn't support some of their modding features. We will be in contact with Valve in the near future to see what's possible," they say. This answer was reworded to clarify the misinterpretation we have seen on social media and in some news articles that suggested we're avoiding Steam because of negative reviews, which is false. We ourselves have been giving our game negative reviews for the past few weeks and believe it is critical to our development to receive honest feedback. In regards to other places they want Hytale to be playable, they say right now console release is planned for a later stage, but it does require a lot of work on back-end systems and they don't want to invest resources there just yet. Good game first mentality. There will also be no mobile version of Hytale for early access. They're still evaluating whether this is something that they can feasibly work towards. Another major cause for concern with some people is this question: will there be cosmetics you can purchase to support Hytale's development? The team say at this time you can get special avatar cosmetics through the early access editions, which we have been made aware of before. Quote, "We may offer extra cosmetics later once the game is in a better state or when we introduce minigames. One thing is for sure, when it comes to monetization, we will never add pay-to-win options. Official cosmetics will stay fair and balanced, and we will keep adding free cosmetics over time." They go on to say that this approach keeps the game's price low, it helps the community thrive, and for them to cover long-time costs for updates, live services, and things like minigame infrastructure. They say official avatar cosmetics is one area we reserve for ourselves right now, though we might involve the community later. Again, the big worry with all of this, of course, is that it's implied that in future there will be paid cosmetics. They do say that modders can still create visual mods like furniture, pets, hats, and even avatar cosmetics of their own, but that as these aren't official content, players will need to have that mod installed to see them. Specifically, they clarify, "We would like to prevent mods from overriding our official cosmetics and causing confusion for all players, so please be respectful of this. If you're a server owner who wants to make custom things then for your players, this may confuse you." They say third-party servers are allowed to override cosmetics to match their theme, or to sell their own cosmetics for their server only to cover their costs. However, we ask servers to continue supporting the official cosmetics, as this helps us keep developing tools, assets, and updates for them. Effectively implying that you can, to a limit, create your own custom skins or cosmetics, or have players be different models or mobs, for example, just as long as it doesn't override their cosmetics or confuse people. I'm sure their terms of service and end-user licensing agreement, when officially released, will clear up the exacts here, because I get why some people could read this and again be quite confused about where they draw the line. They say in the future we may also work directly with artists who do well so that they can sell their work in our official in-game store. This is a long-term goal and not something we can promise today. Our focus is on making a good game and supporting the community without turning turning the experience into a shopping mall. Then, in regards to the different editions of Hytale you can purchase on December 13th, they say the exclusive content you get with each version will expand over time with new cosmetics. When you pre-order, you'll likely be able to reserve your name, so naturally they addressed what would happen when it comes to scalpers. They say if someone is sitting on a known username, to sell it, trade it, or maliciously block other people from getting it, the team will reclaim that username, which is good to know. They also say they are actively working on regional pricing with a limited number of countries. They might not be able to get this done by pre-order day, but they're trying. Hytale will also only be available in English at first, but is built with localization in mind. They're hoping to crowdsource translations in a similar way that Minecraft did to begin with. Pets and animal taming is planned but not ready. Fishing will be worked on after release, as will proximity chat, as they mostly have it ready. They just want to focus on nailing the tech side so that they avoid crashes. They also confirm that the creator program will allow people like yourself to use my code when buying Hytale, likely code Kweebec. I'll make sure to update my pinned comments to be sure. And that will provide a 5% cut that supports my own creative projects for Hytale. So that's very exciting. Again, don't feel pressured if you have another favorite creator, but yeah, my code will always be there. Moving quickly onto those 3 new in-game images, the first shows a few players, a Kweebec and a Troc, sitting down at a table. Honestly, nothing major here, just looks like a kind of divorce or civil case. Notice the books resting on the side, that's quite nice, and it's good to see that mobs can sit down, I guess. The next image comes right from Big Dude and Canadian Flash, 2 Hytale creators that are friends of the channel who Simon actually sent this image to reveal. Here we see a player holding a mithril axe. We've seen a few variants of this tool set. It has this swirling cloud-like pattern on it. The player is looking out into a distant thick forest. The terrain here looks very impressive. The third image then shows a fire skeleton guard of sorts. We've seen this enemy before, but this time there's a player about to slam down on the mob using an ultimate attack. They say lots of variety in weapons and playstyles in Hytale. We are excited to show you more about the combat very soon. Real quick, a lot of people have actually asked me what my plans for Hytale are, and obviously I'm going to keep covering news all the way through early access, but I do really want to stream on day 1, so make sure that you're going to be there on January 13th, either playing on your own edition of the game or watching me if you just want to see the adventures that I get up to on my own or with friends and whatever we end up trying in the first week. I want to jump into SMPs, I want to develop mods and loads of different stuff. I even want to set off my own server, which I'll talk about way more in the next video. And yeah, generally, I'm just very excited. Obviously, we've got Thankmas coming up. If you don't know what Hytale Thankmas is specifically, Jacksepticeye runs this big yearly annual charity event, and that's Thankmas. That's a big event that's separate to us. He actually allows smaller communities to create their own Thankmas events to support the bigger cause. And so for the last 5 years, we've made Hytale Thankmas, which sort of takes the spirit of Jack's event and kind of puts our own Hytale community spin on it, where we show off fan art and loads of different really cool projects from around the community. In the last few years, we've even had the team officially attend and kind of endorse it in a way. So I really recommend you guys come along. That's going to be December 13th, the pre-order day of Hytale. And we're going to be doing loads of stuff, streaming all day, at least 6 to 8 hours. And who knows, we may have a sneak peek or 2. I'm not going to promise anything, but you should definitely show up to find out. Our goal is $10,000, so we really need people to show up for this. We're raising money for World Central Kitchen. They're an incredible charity that we've supported for multiple years now. For more information, make sure to check the pinned comment of this video. If you're still not caught up on all of the Hytale news, make sure to click the video on screen. Make sure to subscribe to help me hit 100k before Hytale launches. Stay safe and keep free.